Welcome to our video covering Mini Challenge 1, Characterization of an Epidemic Spread. First, let's take a look at the approach we applied to analyze the data. We oriented ourselves by the knowledge discovery from data or KDD pipeline. In the first step of data selection, we removed invalid microblog entries from the dataset given. Afterwards, linguistic preprocessing had to be applied, namely in translating entries of foreign languages, as well as stemming and stopword elimination to enable statistical evaluation. In the transformation step, we convert the coordinates from geolocation to pixel location, and we index the microblog data using the high-performance text database Lucene. Now we can start mining the data and derive knowledge from it. This happens in an iterative process inspired by the visual information seeking paradigm using EVA, a self-written visual analysis tool for the provided microblog data. Initially, we plotted all block entries day-wise on the map of Vastopolis to get a first impression of the data. Even though it is obvious that with this naive approach it is hard to gather meaningful findings, you still can detect vague patterns and a noticeable rise in the amount of microblocks in the last 3 days. On the very last day, you see dense areas on the map which happen to be all of the hospitals of Vastopolis. To get a better impression of the epidemic development, we need to be able to filter for sick people. Therefore, we take a look into the overcrowded hospitals on the last day using word clouds to visualize the symptoms the patients text about, thus getting keywords of the epidemic. Afterwards, the as ill classified people are then plotted onto the map to spot a trend of the epidemic. In the beginning, we see average numbers of sick people all over the city, with higher numbers in the center of Vastopolis due to the higher population density. Suddenly, during the last 3 days of the time period, the numbers explode, which obviously marks the epidemic outbreak on the 18th of May. The epidemic appears to start in the center of Vastopolis and spreads over the town in the upcoming 3 days towards the east of the city. Taking a closer look on the wind direction for the last couple of days, we can see that there was a west wind blowing in the last days, slowly turning to a west-northwest direction, which is also reflected in the dense areas of the sick people around downtown. To get a deeper understanding of the symptoms of the epidemic, we created word clouds solely of the ill people in the affected areas. In central Vastopolis, we can see that the sickness starts with a shortness of breath, headache and a fever. On the second day, coughing adds to the symptoms, and on the last day it is apparent that the illness worsened to pneumonia. Since there is another cluster downstream of the vast river, we also created word clouds from the microblogs along that area. The data in this area shows different kinds of symptoms. People mainly complain about diarrhea and stomach problems there, indicating a different type of illness. To find possible causes for the epidemic, we applied a self-developed algorithm that displays high variations from the average message density in a given area and time frame, thus indicating a special event. Looking at the days before the outbreak, we detected 3 suspicious events along Vast River on May 17th. To investigate these events further, we take a closer look at the messages from the area of each event. Looking at the word cloud for the events in Smogtown and Plainville, we can find no relevant results that could explain the epidemic. In the last event, 490 tweets near the downtown bridge wrote about a truck accident and spill. Spilling a hazardous substance into the river is a possible explanation for the sickness along the river. This theory is supported by the message's contents. We apply the same technique around the Vastopolis Dome and the convention center in downtown and uptown respectively. We find evidence that there is a basketball game in the Vastopolis Dome in downtown and a technology convention in the convention center in uptown. During these events, the air was polluted with high probability with pathogens infecting people attending the events and at the same time spreading over the air to the east. In conclusion, we observe that the Vastopolis citizens mainly in 2 areas suffer from 2 different symptom families, one caused by a chemical agent poisoning the river, the other a flu-like pathogen spread over the air probably in an act of terrorism.